Hey guys, Disciple Tarot here with a new video. We are going to be looking at what you should be celebrating right now, what you should be proud of, what accomplishments you've achieved so far. That's what I really want to focus on today, what you should be celebrating for yourself, what you've overcome. So today we will be using the Osho Zen Tarot. And I will be drawing 3 cards for you guys to pick from to get your reading. We're doing a pick a card reading today. So, let's get the 3 cards. How about that? First card we have is Past Lives. Second card is The Mind. And the third card is Isolation. That's always a fun one to say in this deck. Isolation. So, I want you guys to take a look at these. And since this is being proud of, being aware of what you've overcome, these could simply be, quite obviously, at least to me so far, that these are all the obstacles themselves. We'll get into it, of course, with each reading, but have you overcome any karma from a past life? Or simply, if you look at it in a different way, have you overcome generational problems in your family, something that others in your family still struggle with, but you have overcome recently? And then there's the mind. Have you been able to overcome the mind and, limiting beliefs or anything like that? And isolation, this is simply, have you overcome any pain? Anything that's kept you frozen in place, unable to move forward, but yet now you are moving forward. So take a look at these 3 cards, see which one you want, and then you can check the timestamps below and to get your reading, alright? I'll see you guys in just a second. Okay guys, you picked the first card, you got Past Lives. So let's see what this has to say. I'm really thinking it has to do with just being proud with generational issues, problems of the parents, problems, problems that maybe your siblings still struggle with. This isn't a matter of pride of, oh, I'm doing better. It's nothing like that. It's just a matter that you have overcome things that have been plaguing your family for years, or just this time around. We have success. That's kind of what I'm seeing again. I think that just confirms it so far. We got maturity. And we are the world. So you have the Ace of Rainbows, which is Pentacles, and the 10 of Rainbows. And then I don't think I said this one, this Success, that's the 6 of Fire. So that is Wands. Okay. So far, yeah, I'm really seeing there is a sense of maturity that has come from overcoming this generational issue or issues, and you're better able to connect to those around you, just the rest of the world. your friends, coworkers, just random people on the street, just other people, other creatures of this planet, you're able to connect with better. You see the we in it. Maybe an issue with your family has been that of isolation. Something like there's a fear of opening up or vulnerability, but now you're not really seeing that. You're seeing the we, not the I. I got two cards. Hold on. The deck is falling apart on me. Okay. So what we have is creativity. That is a major arcana, just like past lives. I feel a lot of like rejuvenated energy is coming into your life by overcoming this generational issue. Again, this karma, however you want to see it. There's a new sense of like renewal in yourself and like what you can do. I mean, think about that. If you've overcome something of isolation or just a lack of vulnerability or intimacy with the family, maybe just of opening up, then this creativity is very much about being vulnerable. If you take it literally like an artist, right? Creativity, you're having to put what you create, what you believe in out there for others to see and to criticize and to ridicule, but you still do it because it's what you love and it's because it's what you believe in. So taking that in mind, that is definitely a renewal of yourself, of your spirit, by working on this issue that is part of the family and has been for generations possibly. And again, the success, it's just like it's a high. You're on top of the world. And so now you can create, you can do what you want to do with the rest of the world. And that is maturity. That ace of rainbows. That is very much maturity. You're able to be your own person, not be that lack energy of the rest of the family, for example. And then there is stress, though, here. And I feel it's not like this was a one and done deal. You overcame the issue, whether quickly or not, and then it's just, oh, it's done. It's a process, isn't it? Having to work on it, to see yourself in a new light and for others to see you. It could be uncomfortable. There were some things I went through in the past, and it's like, even if you're in a better place and you're happy and you're doing well and you're working on things, people still give you a hard time actually for being different, even if that different is good. Isn't that strange? It is. It's so strange. You could be, and it's not of envy necessarily or jealousy. That could certainly play a role, but I'm not even talking about that. I'm honestly referring to just your difference in personality or character sort of confuses people. It can rub some people the wrong way, and that's, again, another way of looking at it, and certainly that could be a part of this reading for you. But what I'm referring to is just you being different makes people uncomfortable. They're like, well, you're doing so much better. Like, and then I don't really understand why you're seeing things differently. And people just can't see it, especially if these are other family members for you, because they may still be living that lie, that generational lie. And so when you're living differently, they're seeing you as being cuckoo. So there can certainly be stress where you're having to juggle a lot of different things like this character is. And it's only a matter of time before something pops. and everything comes crashing down. At least that's how it feels. So let's get some more cards. Consciousness. Another ace. Ace and ace. That's pretty cool. I feel in many ways this is an elevated state for your consciousness. It's like you see the third eye on the card is being lit up. It's almost like, again, you've renewed yourself. Just like with the maturity card, you're at a new state of being where I can now reconnect with the outside world and do things differently than I did previously. But this consciousness card is about your mind being renewed. I've already touched on it as I was talking about with these other cards, but this brings up the point that your mind is restarting. It's doing a hard reboot on how to see things. And that can go hand in hand with the stress, the 7 of fire, because while things are stressful and things may be crazy, you're dealing with this new state of being for yourself and how people are treating you and how it affects others, especially, again, your family. But with this consciousness card, you're having to keep in mind that, again, it is a process, but also that the way you view things is ultimately how you're going to end up feeling about the situation, right? It all starts in the mind. Our thoughts lead to emotional outbursts or whatnot, and then that leads to behaviors, to actions. So that's why negative thoughts or patterns in our mind can lead us really to just self-destructive pattern or behaviors, for example, because our mind is what tricks us. It doesn't have to, but it certainly can. But you're renewing that. So there's a greater sense of how you see things because of this new mind, and this maturity. I think that's super cool. Whatever this problem was for you guys, I don't think I need to spend a lot of time talking about what it is because I don't know. But what I can say is it's probably been a lot of work for you. I'm proud of you. You did a good job. I'm sure others are proud of you too. But there's just a lot of stress of this restart and living differently, living anew. So let's get more cards. Oops. Flip. There. This is very cool. You should be proud. Again, that was the message, right? Being proud. You should be proud. And right here, you have the World card in this deck, which is completion. It's like putting the puzzle together. You've finally been able to do that. It's like, excuse me, it's like your whole life you felt like you were missing pieces. Or maybe not even the whole time, because a lot of the time, right, when we're living in negative patterns, we are unaware of it until sometimes it's too late, or it's just that's been years and years, and then we look back on all the time we've lost. Now, this isn't a time to bemoan the past, because you have put in the work and you're doing great. So don't focus on anything else that unnecessarily causes you stress. Once again, we have this consciousness card, which is the ace of the sword suit, which is clouds in this deck. So you have the ace of clouds. So you've restarted, you've pierced those clouds of negativity, those gray, sad, anxious clouds, and you've started over with this a greater consciousness. But this completion is you've felt like there weren't really all the pieces. You haven't had all the pieces, and that's made things difficult for you in the past. Whenever, however, you figured it out that things needed to change, you needed to change this generational problem for yourself. You may try to help family members do the same, and that could certainly be another aspect of the Seven of Fire. But for yourself, that's all you can do for sure. You can only guarantee that you can change and better yourself. You can't do the work for others. And so while you were finding that there are so many pieces missing to the puzzle, you're just putting in the last piece and you're getting the picture, the full picture. And that's great. I mean, I can empathize a lot with this reading in particular. I haven't done the other two yet, but I can certainly say that this one's probably the closest to what I could resonate with. You know, it's a matter of restarting from just the old, really anxious, sadder, more restrained version of myself. So let's get some more info here. But yes, this is something you should certainly be proud of. You've put in the work, you've made changes, you're continuing to work on those changes. It may be difficult for sure. You have a stress card. You have the stress card, that is, right in your reading. And I can totally agree with that on my side. Change is scary. I saw that card. You come back up here. Projections. I feel this kind of goes hand in hand with the success card. It's like you can project not only how you want things to be from now on, the future, but it's also a matter of seeing the multifaceted aspects of your family. Not necessarily the, like Mr. Hyde aspects. I'm not saying that this is a negative card with the Seven of Water. What I'm really trying to say is you're seeing the past projections and how they've affected your present, and you're seeing now. So you're seeing that in the past, but you're seeing now how you can project and see things for the future, a better future. It's sort of seeing through delusions. After you've put this puzzle together, or as you're putting it together still, these projections are becoming clearer. And that's good because you can see what's fake and what's not. You can see what's a delusion and what's reality. Right now, you really want to focus on reality because you've been living in delusion. The family has been living in delusion. The Fool. I think that's a good card to end this reading. You feel in many ways you're starting over. It's kind of like a kid in a candy store, or being in a candy store for the first time, I should say, where it's just like, oh my goodness, look at all of this, all these treats, like all the different kinds of chocolate, all these different lollipops, and just this and that, and like all the colors of the store. It smells so good. It's like a whole new world for a kid, right? The first time they're in a candy store. I mean, and they'd be really little too, so it's just like so awe-inspiring. It's like being on the top of like a mountain, like a high peak, and just seeing the world below, and you feel so small in that moment, but then the world around you feels so grand, and it's like, wow, I live here. This is life. This is the world. And so being the Fool, again, it's that reset. You are just starting this journey over, and you're excited for it though. The Fool is excited. The Fool isn't afraid or anxious. And I feel again with this Ace of Clouds, the consciousness card, you're certainly able to feel like a fool right? You're able to feel excited and to be ready to prepare for the journey ahead of you now, because your mind has restarted. It's not coming from a place of anxiety or anything like that. And you yourself, your character, you're mature and you're ready to move forward. There was a lot that you have worked on. This reading is truly at the end of it all. It's like if I had done a reading for you, like a personal reading, to see exactly what this uh, generational lie has been, that would have been really like uh, tense, and there would have been a lot to unpack, right? That would have had probably multiple readings or something like that. A lot of clarity, a lot of clarification needed. I mean, but here, this is at the end of it, the tail end of it, and it's you've already gone through it and you're just ready to move forward. So that is all I have for you guys today. Please be proud of yourself. You've worked so hard on whatever this generational issue is, and you're truly moving forward. There's a lot of success coming for you. You're able to be more creative and you're more mature. You have a greater mind. The past, you're putting the pieces together and understanding it, and you're seeing not only the world for what it is and being able to connect to it with this 10 of rainbows, but you are able to see what is a delusion and what is not. You're able to see the world for what it really is. And that's great because you have been living in a state where you couldn't before. So I'm going to leave your reading right here. I appreciate you stopping by. If you would like to book a private session with me, please check the description box below, and you can find my email as well as my PayPal if you'd like to donate. That would be much appreciated. Other than that, please like, share, comment, subscribe, all that goodness, and let me know how this connects to you and maybe what you've overcome in the comments below. That would be great. Other than that, you guys have a great day, and I will check you guys out with another reading later on. Hey guys, you are here for your reading. You picked the second card, which is Mind. And this is the Page of Clouds. So it's really coming from a place of seeing and understanding the mind for what it is, which it can be a very manufactured place. If you can see on the card here, it's the whole mind itself is like a machine. You have all these different cogs and you have these smokestacks, and it's a very busy, polluted place. Our mind can be a trap. It can also be a blessing when we work on it, but until we do the work and really start to combat any negative beliefs, anything that's held us back in our lives or had us see things in a very delusionary sort of way or just negative way, then until that work is done, the mind can rule you and it can keep you stuck. So if your reading is about the mind, and this is about being proud of what you've overcome, then you have been seeing the mind for what it really is. You understand that the mind is a trap, and you are working on that. You've been working on it. So let's get some more cards, and we'll start getting into this. And again, this is the Osho Zen Tarot, a very, very interesting deck with its imagery. Guilt. The Eight of Clouds. Receptivity. So Right away, I mean, you've overcome a lot of guilt. I think that's what this is that the main aspect of your mind, what's affected you in the past, has primarily been that of guilt. Now, we'll get more cards, of course, and that can shed some light on that, but I don't really need to personally know what this guilt is for you because you know. All of you watching this is always going to connect differently with every one of you, but the word guilt will trigger a specific thing for each of you. So you know what that guilt is better than me over here. You know, so regardless of what other cards are drawn and I start connecting the message here in this reading, guilt has been plaguing your mind for a long time. And it's something that is no longer holding you back or having the same effect. Guilt is something that can be very destructive and can not only hold us back, but it can it can really cause problems in our relationships and just in life, because when we feel guilty about something, especially something maybe from childhood, something that isn't even our fault, it can cause a lot of problems and issues in our life. Sorry for the lighting, guys. It's been fluctuating a lot with the clouds. Let me try and get some more light in here first. I'll be back in a second. Okay, I am back. Now, things should be good until it changes again. And then receptivity. This is really about being in a place where you can not only receive the emotions of others, but you can give back to them equally. It's an exchange. As you see in this female character here, her head, she doesn't even have a head. It's just like a lotus, and it is both receiving and giving energy of water. This is the queen of water, by the way, so the queen of cups. This is being in a place where you can be emotionally expressive and fair to those around you. So I feel this guilt has maybe kept you from being able to feel like you can give equally, that you can be someone who can actually understand like feminine energy and being able to be kind and, well, receptive. It's hard to be receptive when you feel guilty because shame comes into the picture. And since you've overcome this guilt, this receptivity has been increasing ever since. So let's get some more cards. Oh, how funny. This is a card that the last reading, the first card, Past Lives, they got this card, the Six of Fire, Success. And this, again, really goes into the whole topic of this reading today, right? Being of achievement, being proud of what you've overcome. Being proud, being very proud. You have overcome a lot. And it's sort of like a high. You're on top of the world, right? And that's okay. Obviously, don't let that go to your head or anything, but I think with this mind you've overcome and everything else you've overcome, I don't really think there's anything wrong with being a little bit on top of the world. So let's get another card for this row. Yep. Up until now, Many aspects of your life, or at least your mind, has been nothing but a burden. You felt as if everything you did was because of the command of someone else, like someone riding on your shoulders, like the card here, the Six of Clouds, which is normally, the Six of Swords, which is sort of escape and rest. And that is certainly the case here, but there is no rest until you stop the burden, until you recognize this person here, this crazy, colorful character, as being a burden. So, what thing in your life, what aspect of the mind specifically, that is for your reading, right? The mind, this Page of Clouds, what aspect of the mind has been a burden for you the most? Think about that. I always encourage everyone to do journaling, drawing, anything like that that can help you process what you're getting out of this reading. I really recommend, some kind of journaling. There's all kinds of different ways of doing it. You could write things down. You could just free write or just draw, or you could even record yourself talking out loud and then just listening back to it. You know what I mean? Like whatever it is that could work for you. I would recommend that. And it's, what is this burden of the mind? What has been a burden? I think it's important to keep that in mind so that it doesn't come back to bite you. You don't want the mind to gain ground over you, right? You don't want the mind to get you back stuck into this machine. You certainly don't want that. So let's get some more cards. Letting go. I think in many ways, not only for this burden card specifically, but the whole reading, letting go is something you're learning. It kind of goes along with this Queen of Water, this Eight of Water, is of letting go. I feel like you're really connecting to your emotions, is mostly what you're doing. You have a lot of clouds, a lot of cloud cards, the swords. So that is, again, of the mind, right? And there's a lot of anxiety that could be tied to that. A lot of people don't like the sword suit because of, the cards themselves, which I understand. But it's good to have those when it's something that you're working on. And that's what this is saying. You've overcome guilt. You're recognizing your mind as a trap. You're seeing the burden. It's just keep that burden in mind, however, so that you could continue to keep yourself out of this trap of your mind. But there's a lot of connection now happening with the emotions. Letting go. I don't know for you what there is to let go, but you do. What are things that you're having to let go other than just this burden itself and any negative aspects that have been holding you back in your mind? What should you be letting go? People, even places, just behaviors, of course. Keep that in mind. Let go of that which does not serve you. Compromise. Boundaries. This is the Six of Rainbows. There certainly can be a lot to gain from having healthy boundaries. The Six of Pentacles is generally about charity, it's about giving equally. And since we have that right beneath, the receptivity card, right, which is about that emotional give and take, this is reminding you to have healthy boundaries. And I think that's something you're aware of. I don't think that's anything new, but it's something that you are indeed working on. What can you compromise on? What should you compromise on? So keep that in mind as well. Letting go of things that don't serve you, but to have healthy boundaries emotionally. Because you can certainly give too much. And then you'll have a whole nother problem of, yes, you overcame your mind, but now you're becoming like a people pleaser, for example. And you don't want that either. Sorrow. While I was shuffling earlier, I don't know, like 3 cards ago, this card almost, it like popped up but didn't fully come out of the deck, so I didn't take it. But here it is again, sorrow. I think there is a lot that you are processing and overcoming. I feel this sorrow is a little bit more present than this guilt. The guilt is what you've overcome, but you're at this place of sorrow. You know, and this isn't a bad thing, of course. Once again, this is all about you overcoming. However, sorrow, it is the ending of this suit of clouds, right? We don't have 10 here, but you are approaching it. You're approaching that rebirth, that restart. I feel there's sorrow because you're recognizing maybe things you've done that you aren't proud of in the past. Or you're just feeling sorrowful for the things that have been done to you. And that's understandable. Don't feel bad about that. But I do understand how you're feeling about the past and how your mind has caused issues for you. That is totally understandable. Whoops. Oh, my card like flipped. Completely almost out of my hand. Okay. Lovers. This can certainly talk about past loves and the like, but I am more seeing this as being in love with yourself. This is more about like personal trust and admiration or admiration. I know how to say words. And so I think there is room, there should be room for self-admiration. You know, to appreciate yourself for who you are, to care for yourself. I mean, love is not just romantic love. It's also not just platonic, but it's also about self-love. Love itself is a very powerful emotion. It's, in my opinion, it's the greatest emotion. I mean, how do you care for others? By loving them. How do you care for yourself? By loving yourself. How do you care for projects or your home or even just, possessions that you have, clothing? Love. You care for things. And so being able to take this major arcana, this is the only one you have so far, so this is a very important lesson for you in this reading, is self-love. I think that's something, maybe that's what you felt guilty about, primarily. Once again, I said what is guilt for you personally. That's going to vary for all of you. But I think a lesson that all of you can certainly take on, a very important one, is that of the lovers. In what way have you neglected yourself? Maybe you felt guilty for things that happened to you, past traumas, and we always start blaming ourselves. But with the Lover's card, that's telling you not to do that. Now, you've certainly overcome this guilt already, but it's still going to plague you, right? It's still going to affect you. And certainly if it affects your ability to love yourself, then that is a problem. Again, how can you be receptive with this Queen of Water if you do not care for yourself? You can't give what you don't have. You can't give love if you don't have love. So this card here, the Lovers, that very much I feel is for yourself. It's loving yourself. It's being connected, the masculine and the feminine. It's having all parts of the mind and the heart together, not separate. Let's get the last card here. Conditioning. This is normally the devil card, but in here it is conditioning. It's seeing yourself for who you truly are, not for how others see you or how they've told you to be. Thinking about that, the picture here shows a lion surrounded by sheep, and the lion has one sheep actually strapped to its back. Now, the lion here represents you. If you're a lion but you've been told your whole life you're a sheep, then you will do your darndest to be a sheep, even so far as strapping one to your back and saying, "Hey, look at me. I am a sheep." But you're not. You're not part of the herd. You shouldn't be a part of the herd. Your mind is your own mind. Your heart is your own heart. You are your own person. So if you are a lion, then roar. You see what I mean? So do not see yourself for what others have told you to be. And that certainly plays into this guilt and this sorrow. If you see yourself as being shameful, that if you've been told you're a weak, pathetic sheep, let's just say, then you will see yourself as that, right? And sorrow, if you feel so much pain over the past and maybe things you've done, then you don't see yourself as worthy of being a lion. Even if after this guilt, you're starting to recognize yourself as a lion, you may not feel worthy of being a lion with this 9 of clouds. Do you see kind of how it can be a cycle? So I don't want you to do that. Be proud of what you've overcome. Your mind no longer has you trapped. You're no longer guilty. You have success. You're receptive to those around you. You have recognized the burdens in your life and what you need to let go. You're having to learn and you're thinking about the compromises that you need to make for boundaries and the like. But you're mostly coming to love yourself, the lovers. You're coming to trust yourself. Because you've been conditioned to think a certain way. Once again, I'm kind of feeling like this is past traumas. And if it is, I am sorry for what you've gone through. But guess what? You have this down. You have this situation. You have it in the bag. However, whatever expression you want to use, you got this. You seriously do. I believe in you. And this is certainly showing what you've been through and where you're going. And where I see you going is a place of success. A place of self-love. And of breaking through conditioning. What you've been conditioned to see yourself as. You are a lion, you are not a sheep. Awesome. This is all I have for you guys. This is your reading. I really appreciate you stopping by and checking this out. Hopefully this helped you out. Please be proud of what you've overcome, okay? Seriously, your mind is no longer trapping you. That's all you need to know. It no longer has you trapped. But if you would like to book a private session with me, please consider doing so. You can find my email in the description box below. And you can also find my PayPal if you'd like to donate. Other than that, if you'd just like to like this video, share it, comment below, tell me how this does connect you. What exactly have you overcome with your mind? What is guilt for you? What has made you feel guilty? What is that burden? The greatest burden for you, What have been people telling you? What have they been telling you that you are? Which has been just a lie. It's been false. And in what ways do you need to, self-love? To take care for yourself. So other than that, I appreciate you guys stopping by. Welcome. And if you would please consider subscribing, that would be a big deal for me. I appreciate that. Anyway, I will see you guys in the next video. All right. Take care. Hey guys, you are here for the last reading of this video. You picked card 3, Isolation. All right, so right away we can see what this card could really be talking about, right? Isolation. And you feel in many ways that you're stuck. You're frozen in place. The pain of something is so great. This is the Three of Clouds, which is normally the Three of Swords, right? That's that heart that's stabbed by three swords. You feel from pain, some sort of pain, that it is locking you in place mentally. It's so gripping. And there's nothing left to do but to cry. You see the character on the card, all he is doing, all this person is doing is crying. And I think in many ways this is what you have overcome. Once again, this topic of this video, what should you be celebrating? What have you overcome? You've overcome a great pain. So let's get some more cards to see exactly what the situation is about for you, okay? Turning in. You've done a lot of work on yourself. You spend a lot of time meditating. Quite literally, that's sort of what the picture shows, but it's more the actual representation of the card that I'm going off of here. And it's, you've gone inside to let your thoughts, your heart, everything flow. And that's what it takes to move forward, right? What can you do to melt the ice? Well, you can certainly use water. I mean, unless it's just really cold out, then that will create more ice. But you can use water, there's heat, there's all these different things you can do. But what do those take? They take action, they take movement. You know, it's momentum, it's flow. And so just like this character sitting here meditating, there's this flow from within them, almost like a river. In order to not be stuck, right? This isolation, in order to not be stuck, you have to move. And I feel by turning in, you've done that. By actually connecting to yourself and seeing for what is real and what is not, you've been able to turn on the faucet and you've been able to flow from that moment on. And this is probably something you're still doing, meditation of some kind. You know, whether literally sitting there meditating or for you it's just journaling, anything, it doesn't matter what. But you've done something to turn into yourself to see what is true. And by doing that, you've been able to move forward. The Queen of Fire. This is of care. Care for yourself and care for others. But this is in your actions. The last reading got the Queen of Water, so the Queen of Cups, and it's about receptivity. It's about being able to receive others and then give back equally. This is about knowing how to be a light for others. See, his character has a plate of food. I think it's a fruit specifically. And then there's a candle. It's like a beacon. You are able to take provisions for yourself, the situation, and you alone, independently, right? Confidently, you take action. This could be for yourself, it could be for others, but I feel you've taken the time to light that candle and melt this ice. This very much is a situation where you are learning to care for yourself. I mean, there's meditation here, that's also a self-care action, and then you're sharing yourself. And I feel in many ways, this isolation, of course, is always self-induced. I mean, it's always self-induced, this pain. It's something that we take on so heavily, and then we keep ourselves from moving forward. Again, as I said previously with the isolation. But this sharing is you're sharing your own light, your own heat your own power with yourself. By melting this ice, you're then giving yourself what you need to be confident and independent. Again, this can be sharing with others for sure, but I feel this is more with yourself. You're learning to share your own energy with yourself, something that you haven't done because of this pain. Get some more cards. You should definitely be proud. Maybe so far to you this seems like a little selfish, like, oh, I'm just caring for myself and giving my own energy to myself. It's like, but yes, if you're stuck in place, you need to. How would you be able to help other people or be there for others if you are stuck? Friendliness. Well, I think this is a good time that this card came out, right? We were just talking about that. I feel this is something you may be fearing, but there is no reason to fear. You're getting to a place where you can be friendly. You're at a place where you can merge yourself, just like these two trees are like connecting one to one. You are able to actually connect to those around you. Friendliness. Normally, since it's the Two of Water, that's the like true love card, the Two of Cups. So of course, maybe you could be in a relationship right now as well, and maybe you're finding yourself finally able to connect with them truthfully. Maybe you've had issues in your relationship since this pain. Whatever the situation is for you, this pain could have been keeping you from expressing yourself. But I think regardless of the specifics, this is just a reminder to let you know, no, you are not selfish. You are going to be able to better connect to people and be friendly because you are no longer stuck in ice. Because you took the time to share your love with yourself, your energy, that heat, and that power too. Innocence. This very much is a time to start over with your own happiness. Again, this is another selfish card, but this is, the Sun card in a standard deck. This is 19, Major Arcana. This is a big lesson for you. It's stripping down all the labels and everything that you've taken on since, well, you've been born, and it's seeing things for as a child would, just from the bare necessities. It's innocence. It's just sitting here like this old man here. You're just being calm and tranquil, and you have a praying mantis on your finger, and you're just seeing the bug, just seeing the world for what it is, and just being like, okay, this is really fun. I'm just sitting here and I'm relaxing. Oh, look at this insect here. He's really cool looking. And that is honestly real happiness. Happiness is being able to be still. Unlike this isolation, it's being still, but it's happy in the moment. Because what is happiness other than innocence? Innocence is, again, a surrender to what is true, a surrender to what is simple and pure. It's not the labels that society have given you or what others think of you or the things you think other people think of you. It's getting out of your mind, out of this isolation, out of this pain, and it's just enjoying life. Just as kids do when they go out and they play for hours and come back dirty and they're just as happy as could be. That's innocence. That's a surrender to life itself and just enjoying the moment. So innocence. 19, a big lesson here. I'm glad something like this popped up. This is another self-care for you. It's another again, a card that could be seen as, oh, I'm just being selfish, but it's not. If you've been in a place, I feel that's something you struggle with, is you feel like you're selfish just because right now or recently, whatever, you are and have been giving to yourself a lot lately, or feeling that you need to, but then you feel guilty. That was something the last reading had to deal with, was feeling guilty. And that's certainly not what you need to be doing. You're meditating, you're turning in, you're getting yourself more active in your own heart and in a place of, of goodness for yourself, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You're getting to a good place in your heart, and that's keeping you from being frozen, because you're sharing the energy with yourself and you're being friendly. You could connect better now that you're not stuck. In this innocence, you're able to be happy, truly happy, because of all these other cards. So let's get some more here. Yes, you should be very proud of yourself so far. And happy for the things you've overcome, for sure. And you've overcome great pain, and you've overcome yourself. The mind. Yep. It's living in the moment to moment, second to second. The only way for you, this is good advice, the only way you could truly continue to be happy, if you're feeling better right now than compared to yesterday and the week before and the week before that, the month before, whatever it is specifically for you, how you are connecting to this reading, you need to keep this moment to moment in mind. Because at any moment you could be frozen again. Because you aren't listening to yourself with this turning in card. You aren't sharing your own energy with yourself. And that's going to keep you from being friendly and from being innocent, from being happy. Moment to moment. The last reading got this card too. Creativity, another major arcana. It's another big lesson for you. Something that might be helpful for you, I'm really interpreting this card quite literally, and just creativity. It's about nurturing your own passions and the things that just, make you happy. So, creativity. Take the time to do things that just make you happy. That's another thing that will keep your mind from being frozen. Usually during a time of healing, I can speak on this very personally. In order to keep yourself moving, you very much need to... I don't like to use the word distract yourself because it just seems like you're avoiding something, but as long as you're doing the work, you're turning in, right? You're doing that meditation, you're doing self-care by giving yourself your own nourishment and energy, then there is nothing wrong with distracting yourself with, playing a musical instrument or writing or painting or even just watching a movie. Do something creative. Do things to distract yourself and keep yourself... It's just another thing to keep yourself from being frozen. That's all it is. It's another major lesson right there. If any of you are going to therapy maybe or considering it, that's something your therapist will certainly tell you too. Do things that make you happy. Don't sit there, isolation. Don't sit there and feel bad for yourself and cry and just destroy your own feelings and your heart and just keep your mind whirling in this whirlwind of negativity. It's keeping movement, momentum. This turning in card is all about that flow, right? It's turning in and talking with yourself, discovering yourself through yourself, and then being able to flow. But also, it is that moment to moment, once again. And what's a great way, moment to moment? By pursuing something creative, by writing or journaling or yeah, painting, anything. So please keep that in mind. That's definitely something I would agree with just on a personal level. Very important. The Master. This is the only special major arcana card in this deck, the Master. Now, what this is really about, it doesn't have a number, but what it really has to do with is it's seeing yourself as in control. It's seeing Osho himself here in the card as a reflection of yourself, as being in control, having a strong heart, having a calm mind, having, abundance in your physical world, reality around you. It's all of those things. It's being in control. You could see this as sort of an affirmation for yourself to keep yourself from being stuck with this Three of Clouds. It is seeing yourself as the master, telling yourself, I got this. Because you do. I believe in you, and you should believe in yourself. And it's more important that you believe in yourself. I can say one thing, another person could say another, but you can certainly keep saying the same thing to yourself, right? Day in and day out. I could say different things to you every day. Oh, I believe in you. Oh, I don't believe in you. But as long as you believe in yourself, that's where the greatest momentum is going to come from. It's going to make that moment to moment so much easier, and to be able to keep, being creative and keeping yourself moving. Be the master. Be the master. Because you do got this. We'll get a couple more cards here, and then that will do it. Totality. This is similar to moment. It's being completely immersed in the action. Now for you, since this is the second fire card in this reading for you, you have the Queen of Fire. This is the Five of Fire. This very much is being at that precipice, that moment in an action, right? The 5, it's in between 1 and 10 of the suit. And you're right at that moment. See, these two characters are about to join hands and complete the, trapeze movement that they're performing, right? And it's just in the middle of the air, all the lights are on them. It's a big moment. It's totality. It is that moment that, is very encompassing. It's being one with that moment. I feel there is a big step for you right here, is what this is saying. I feel you have gotten yourself out of isolation in many ways. Again, you've turned in, you've done the work, you've meditated, you're giving yourself energy, and you're now seeing through this reading and through your own life day to day now, you're seeing that you can be friendly, you can be happy. But these are the things you just, down here in the second row, these are the things you really need to keep in mind. And I think this totality is saying that you're right at that moment, that last second, right, where you join hands with the other person. And it's more like joining hands with yourself, for example. But you're really about to fully embrace and understand these cards down here. The moment to moment, the creativity, and the master. And of course, the totality itself. You're understanding that you are at that moment. You're right at the edge of that cliff. And you got to take that leap. Adventure. Yep. This is the Page of Rainbows. So the Page of Pentacles. So this is you, and you can see this as an inner child, for example, if your issues really stem from childhood, and this is embarking on that adventure, that quest for renewal and like rebirth. But regardless of that, this is you understanding and slowly taking on that adventure that you need to take. I feel again with this totality, it's in that, this moment to moment, it's you're seeing, okay, I really need to take the next steps. And maybe you're taking little baby steps, and that's totally okay. But you're seeing this forest before you, and like this doorway is opened, right? It's all rainbow here. You see the opening, and it's just you haven't taken the step in there yet, but you want to. And I think this is confirmation for you to do that. Again, totality, it's a big moment for you, but it's important to continue the suit and go on to 6 and 7 and 8 and so forth. And so with this adventure, you're seeing the forest. You finally see the forest, but you just haven't entered. But now you're seeing that you do need to. It's a big moment. Maybe that's something you feared. You're like, well, you needed a little bit of validation for to know that the next step into the forest is a big moment, because it felt big to you, but you're like, maybe I'm just being weak or something. You are not being weak. It is a big moment. But you can do it. Again, this whole reading, you can do it. So just take that step, because it is going to be a greater adventure for you into better mental health and just greater overall health for yourself. Really. And that's all I have for you. This is the reading. So I appreciate you stopping by. Welcome if you're new. And please consider subscribing, like this video, comment below on how this connects to you. What is this isolation? In what ways are you learning to, care for yourself? And to, and what is this adventure for you? Specifically, what is the forest? I'd like to know. I'm very interested. But if you would like to book a private session with me, if you really like this reading and that's something you would like to do, you can find my email below in the description box. And you can also find my PayPal if you'd just like to donate. That would be very appreciated, very much. So until then, please check out any other videos of mine, or I will see you in the next video. Take care, guys.